My topic is Healing is the Secret. And it's developed from the teachings of Neville, as it has been announced. And I've been studying the writing of Neville for 30, 40 years. And in one of his books, he says that he had the practice of when he was dealing with a challenge or a need of breakthrough, that he would preach a sermon to himself. So, I'm preaching today to myself. And for the many years that I have taught, spoken, facilitated workshops, especially facilitated workshops, nearly every one of them have been out of my personal need. So if I have a need, I start a workshop and preach my healing through, teach my healing through. So I got a couple of challenges. So this is for me. Y'all want to come along? You can come. Come and go with me. So if you're here today and you have some project that you're working on for good, that you're striving to make a breakthrough through, something that you're aspiring towards. You know what I'm saying? You want some money? A boo? Trying to sell that house? Get a job? Success in career? And just go whatever. Or, if you're experiencing a challenge, you need a breakthrough, healing of the body, healing of the mind, healing of the emotions, healing the relationship, some impasse, someplace. Just jump in here. So that's sort of like we cover everybody here, don't you think? So as I receive my healing, you receive yours too. We're going to learn from the teacher, Jesus, whose spirit is here in this place. Well, you know, you said welcome, Holy Spirit. So then you're assuming that his spirit is among us in a peculiar presence, but also as a presence in your mind as the Holy Spirit, who is the teacher with the capital T. Not only that, but who is also the speaker with the capital S. So I'm just surrendering my little simple mind to his voice. And I'm going to practice something that's very familiar to all of us, that's called downloading. I'm going to say what I'm listening to. As we move through the teachings in John chapter 4, where the man had a dying son, and he left that child on his dying bed, and he ran for help. But as we go through this story, you sit there, does anybody not ever pass out? You can raise your hands so the people, helpers can help you get one, because I'm going to be reading through it. And, but this story is about you. All of the teachings and stories of Jesus are stories about what the phases that you will go through in life. So he has left you a healing manual called the Bible, a personal operations manual. When you're dealing with this, you go through your PDR. Am I right? You go to your book and you look it up. And then the story there is, he tells a literal story, but with a psychological meaning. The story is about the law of mind and the operations of the mind, how the mind works. And he's really talking about giving a mental association to it, consciousness, the law of consciousness. And consciousness works through seemingly two aspects, the conscious and the subconscious parts of the one mind. And every one of those stories is teaching you about the operations of the conscious and the subconscious mind. And that has been read to you today in the passage. And so what you will learn from this story, as in all stories of the Bible, is that there is no such thing as unanswered prayer. Now that can serve as an indictment sometimes. We feel guilty. Did I create this? Yeah. Did this come out of my mind? Yep. But that's not an indictment. That's for teaching. I mean, that's powerful. If I'm experiencing this condition and it's not good and I'm in a desperate situation, don't go to guilt, blame. That's a key. Because it says that if I created it, I can change it. If my mind created it, which is absolutely true for everything, then my mind can change it. That's powerful. Oh, that's empowering. Can we start off with that? Let's go. And so it says right here, whatever things you desire, Mark 11:24, whatever things you desire when you pray, believe that you receive them, and ye shall have them. So somewhere in my pattern, I have this house, I have this car, I have this marriage, I have this beautiful family. Somewhere I pray for it. Prayer is not always something that you sit down and do in some formula way or some deliberate way. Every thought is a prayer. Every thought is a prayer. Every thought is going somewhere. So that thought has gone out and has come back as this beautiful family, this successful house, this successful, that's a prayer. But so too is every other problem in your life. Every prayer is answered. The problem that you're having in life is an answered prayer. Judge not according to appearances, but judge ye righteous judgment. Now, our theme here and the topic is, it's already done. So what we're going to leave here with is what we began with, and that is with the consciousness, with the awareness, with the absolute knowingness that whatever it is that I have prayed for and that I am prayed for is what? It's already done. Let's say it. It's already done. It's already done. Once more, it's already done. Come on. How? Through my feeling. Feeling is the secret. Feeling is the medium of creation. What is the medium? Come on, look at that feeling. Feeling is the medium. The medium is something through which something is done. Am I right? A medium. Well, I looked it up on Google. It says the intervening substance. The dictionary. Medium is the intervening substance. You heard that word substance somewhere. Somewhere it says faith is. Come on now. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. The evidence of things not seen. Feeling is the secret. Medium, the intervening substance through which impressions are conveyed to the senses, or a force that acts on objects at a distance. Now, Jesus had a problem, so I don't feel bad. If he had a problem, so do I. What was his problem? Trying to convey this simple teaching, this simple understanding, this simple message to people. So sometimes he would say, well, all the times he would say, how can I help you to get this? And then he would say, it is like. Am I right? He always taught, it's like this, it is like. The kingdom of heaven is like this and that, it is like. So what I have to share with you is that feeling is like ether. What is ether? Ether is, the dictionary says, the hypothetical medium believed to fill all space. All ethereal substance is one that carries the feeling. Feeling is a medium. It's like. And it works through this everything present. There's a presence everywhere, equally present. There's not a spot where it is not. Jesus called it. Well, that's what God is. God is light. God is like spirit. God is like ether. God is like that something that's indescribable. It's everywhere present and everywhere equally present, and your thoughts flow through it. And it makes an impression upon it. And every thought that makes an impression upon that ethereal nothingness, the advanced intelligence, as intelligence evolved over the years, and then coming through the evolved intellectual minds of people like Fox, Quimby, Mary Baker, and give me some more names, Ernest Holmes. Then they began to pick up on this, and they just gave it another name, like consciousness. Conscious mind, subconscious mind, same thing. And so what we're talking about, feeling, is the secret, the medium for the secret prayer in your life is what's going on in that subconscious mind that is impacting and impressing this stuff that is all around, that is everywhere present and equally present, and it is expressing, out-picturing, producing the likeness of every thought that is going into it. That's answered prayer. Feeling. What is feeling? Feeling is always in perpetual motion. It never sleeps, that subconscious mind. This stuff that is all around us, receiving the impression of our feelings, and feelings become things. Always in perpetual motion, how? In your mind. So, if there is a fixed situation in your life, a condition, a circumstance, a mess, a sickness, too much love, too much money, whatever it is, it's a manifestation of your recurring thoughts. Recurring thoughts hold the sickness in place. Recurring thoughts, perpetual thoughts, hold the anger in place. Recurring thoughts, that means whatever it is. Your recurring thoughts are holding it in place. And that's where your power is that you have the power to change those thoughts. And when you change those thoughts, you change your feeling. Feeling is the secret. So we're talking about how to pray. Am I right? Yeah. How to pray. As within, so without is what we're saying. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Is what we're saying. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And what does the next line say? Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done where? On earth. As it is where? There it is. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. My thoughts that are in heaven are always objectifying and I'm picturing yourself in earth, in my world. So, you have your pass out. We're going to look at page 1. Neville here is writing from the book, Feeling is the Secret. This has been read to you already. The subconscious never fails to express that which has been impressed upon it. This ether that is all around, everywhere present and everywhere equally present, your connection to it is through your subconscious mind, through feeling, the medium, the carrier, the container of your thoughts and feelings. It is done unto you as you believe. The moment it receives an impression, which means what you're feeling now. The moment it receives an impression, it begins to work out ways of its expression. I am sick. The moment, and as it continues to receive, you got to be sending it a message as I am well. Unemployed, you got to send it the message, I got a good job. Sleeping single in a double bed, you got to put 2 pillows beside you and roll over and good night. You go to sleep single, you're going to wake up single. You go to sleep without a car, you wake up with one. Without it. Every thought, every feeling, watch and pray. The moment it receives an impression, it begins to work out the ways of its expression. It does not correct what you're sending. I know you was kidding. No. It accepts the feeling impressed upon it as a fact existing within itself, and immediately sets about to produce in the outer world the exact likeness of that feeling. The exact likeness of that feeling. Now we have to stop and think. That's how Jesus healed. That was his power. That was his miracle working power. The understanding of the workings of the law of mind. And so he came to teach it, to demonstrate it through stories, and people read it literally and come up with religion. A whole set of rules based on what Jesus has written, and Jesus didn't mean none of that stuff. It was a mental science that he was teaching. He was teaching parables. Read this story, and this story will induce a higher meaning and teach you the dynamics of your mind. Yes. Neville says, now preaching to me. Y'all just listen. The subconscious never fails. It never alters the accepted beliefs. It doesn't alter your beliefs. It outpictures them to the last detail, whether or not they are beneficial. You got cousins. Just one thing after another. Problem after problem. In jail and out. Unemployed. You know, I need help. That means other stuff. The subconscious mind is working to produce those events, to produce those circumstances, to produce those experiences. But they will never hear this. Why? Because they're projecting their problems onto other things, into other people, and they don't see the relationship between the conscious and the subconscious mind. They don't see the relationship of their thoughts to this invisible stuff that is all around, that is everywhere present and everywhere equally present, receiving their thoughts and making it come to pass in their lives. So they come to you till I get my income tax. I know you don't like me. You don't love me. If you love me, you would give me your stuff. Well, yours is mine. To impress the subconscious with a desirable state, you must assume, now this is for answered prayer. To impress the subconscious with the desirable state, you must assume the feeling that would be yours had you already realized your wish. You have to act as though I am. If you're sick, you say, I am well. If you're broke, you say, oh, I'm just overflowing abundance. Whatever it is, the opposite, you got to get into that feeling, live it, feel it, stay there, and let nothing interfere with that thought and with that desire, with that feeling. Now, once you've spoken, it says it here, in defining your objective, you must be concerned only. What is your concern after that? Only with what you're praying for. Next sentence. The manner of expression or the difficulties involved ain't your business. Wait a minute. Sometimes my glasses see stuff that ain't there. The manner of expression or the difficulties involved are not to be considered by you. Mind your own business. Stay out of my business. Now, that says it this way in Isaiah 55, verse 8 through 9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, says the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. I work hard for what I want. But everybody don't work hard for what they want. Things just come naturally, freely, and easily. Well, that's the thought that's going into the ethers. Where people just are struggling and are strangling and whatever. Those are the thoughts that are going into that subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind produces ways for that to be in that person's life. It is done to you as you believe. I can't buy this house, this car. Well, then I can't. I don't know where I'm going to get $40,000. Well, he said my ways are beyond, but not your ways. Who told you you need them? Who told you that? Well, I see everybody else. What's that got to do with you? You have a special relationship with the king, who is rich in houses and cars and booze and whatever you want. He didn't tell you had to do that. Work hard. I gotta go to get along. Well, you're gonna be led to the right person who will give it to you at 20%. Why? Because you don't have good credit. And the worse your credit is, the higher the interest if they give it to you. But that's your consciousness going before you to prepare the way. God will give you, he does not alter it, doesn't change it. You say it, okay, stay. He said it this way, lean not unto thine own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge me. Let me direct your path. The key to answered prayer is to live in the state of mind that it is that it's already done. That it's already done. Now, he has a way and a plan, meaning God. This intelligence, this stuff that is everywhere present, everywhere equally present. He has a point. You can talk. That ethereal nothingness, that is something with a capital S. It can speak. It can hear. It can act. It can do stuff. It's called spiritual. Let's look at your page 3. Now we're going to look at this John chapter 14, verse 11. Jesus is talking. He says, I am in the Father and the Father is in me. This I am is your imagination. This Father is this ethereal nothingness that is something with a capital S that fills all space. There's not a spot where it is not. I am in the Father and the Father. This is how he was saying I am in the Father and the Father is in me. You can't take it literally. He was speaking spiritually. Truly, truly, I tell you, whoever believes in me means in my teaching, not the man with the kinky hair and the gold brown, how they describe it in the Bible, wool hair and bronze feet. That's not Jesus. However you describe him, if you got blue eyes, white skin, long flowing hair, it don't matter. It ain't him anyway. He is your imagination in you. Truly, truly, I tell you, whoever believes in me means in my teaching, in my way, will also do the works that I am doing. Just follow this formula. And he will do even greater things than these. And he said, now, I will do whatever you ask in my name. So you got people bleeding in the name of Jesus. Oh, Jesus, 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 in the name of Jesus. And just a stomping and a jumping and a spitting again. Wait for the man to do something. The man said, no, 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 no. He said himself, I of myself can do nothing. Now he got a disclaimer. I'm going to give you this manual. Follow my teachings. Follow my way. But don't come expecting me to do it. I don't have no power. These things that you saw me do, I didn't do it. I go to my Father. I go to my Father. And it's my Father who doeth these things. You know, when you hear me talk, those are not my words. I'm just downloading. I'm just opening my mouth and I'm saying what the Father tells me to say and speaks through me. But what I don't want you to get confused at now is that I am some exception. I am an example that you do like I do, and the things I do, you can do. Oh, so. But if you get caught up in me, you're going to get lost. You got to get caught up in my name, which is my manner, the manner in which I do it, the way that I do it. So John 14, he's giving you an example. Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms, in that if that were not so, but I have told you that, I am going. That's where we want to go right there. So he was teaching them about imagination. The power of imagination, which means your imagination works through your feeling. Feeling is the secret. And feeling is a composite of belief and faith. Am I doing okay? Yes. You got it. Right, Trump. Feeling is a composite of your belief and faith working through the medium of feeling. All right? And it's carried out through your imagination. So he is saying, I am going there. In my imagination, I am going there. Where is there? To the end, to the finish, to the completion, to the fulfillment. To prepare a place for you. Your imagination goes before you to prepare a place for you. It goes there to, he says, I am the author and the finisher of your faith. Oh, where is there the finishing room? Room, place in consciousness, a state of mind. In your imagination, you go to that place, to the finishing room, where the author finishes it. Oh yeah, dresses you up to look like what you want to be. Stiffening you up so you can walk like you looking to be. Spraying you up and down so you can smell like you said that you want to be. Yeah. All right. Yes. Then he says, now if I go, that's in your prayer, your imagination, and prepare that place for you, yeah, I will come again. Everybody sitting waiting, looking for Jesus to come again. And we teach, he is here now. He is here now. Where? In me. As he promised to be. In my imagination. My imagine goes before me, creates that place, gets finished, and it comes back. Hey, wake up. I have become the thing that you desire in your prayer. I will come back and take you to be with me so that you also may be where I am. That's called healing. That's called driving your car. That's how going in that house and start furnishing it. That's called, go on and deposit that check. Write it. It's done. It's finished. Your mind has to stay fixed on that belief that it is already done. It is already done. Come on, once more. It is already done. Yeah. So he kept on talking. He was looking out there on the audience, and he said, now somebody gonna jump up and say something stupid. His cousins was out there in the audience. He said, you know the way to the place. Now he was talking to them. All this time I've been with you, you know what I'm talking about. You know the way to the place where I am going. And then verse 5, cousin said, it's Thomas. We don't know where you're going. Why did we know the way? Verse 5, verse 6, Jesus answered, Lord have mercy. He said, Lord have mercy. Another workshop. Another sermon. I gotta write another book. Make another CD. Maybe I'll put it on the MP3 so you can get it. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father except through me. Nobody comes unto the Father except through imagination, through feeling, through belief, through faith. Let's go to the story before I close. John chapter 4, that's on your page 4. This is the story of a man who had a dying son. It says, and once more Jesus visited Cana in Galilee, where he had turned the water into wine. And there was a certain royal official whose son lay sick at Capernaum. Now you notice the man's last name was not Jones, or he wasn't Mr. McNeil or whatever. That was left like that for a purpose. It's a universal lesson to apply to every man, everyone. It means that at some point in your life, you'll go through desperate times. At some point in life, you're going to need some help. At some point in your life, you're going to be in a fearful situation. And that's here for when those occasions happen. And so, and there was a certain royal official, that's a certain man, whose son lay sick at Capernaum. When this man heard that Jesus had arrived in Galilee from Judea, he went to him. You are here today because you have heard of Jesus. And in churches and synagogues and temples, and there are people all over this universe who are sitting in temples and churches and mosques and whatever. If it's not Jesus is the expression of God, it's some other avatar. So they heard of it. That means that you come with faith, you come believing. And when this man heard that Jesus had arrived from Judea, he went to him and begged him to come and heal his son who was close to death. And the royal official said, see, this is your prayer. Sir, come down before my child dies. So the man left his son. From Capernaum, he comes to Galilee. That's a long distance, 25 or 30 miles. Now, can you imagine him riding on a donkey, going through that terrain? That was a terrible trip. It takes a long time to get there. The point is, what was on his mind? What was on his mind? Desperation. He left his son seeing a dying child. Can you imagine the feelings of this? The man was struggling in his mind. Isn't that what we go through when we've got a strange notice? Or when we're going through different situations? The key here is, how was he feeling? You got to be careful of your feeling even then. So Jesus said, go. The royal official said, sir, come down before my child dies. Jesus said, go, your son will live. Jesus, which is the Holy Spirit, which is the voice of God in your mind, is saying to you, go. It's already done. If you go to Jesus and ask, if you're going to God and asking in prayer, it's done then. It's already done. Now, while he was still on the way, his servants met him. Now, here's a very, very important point. While he was still on the way, in the meantime is the point. In the meantime, it says it's already prepared. In the meantime, while it is evolving and taking form in your life, in the meantime, feeling is the secret. You got to be careful of what you're feeling. While he was still on the way, his servants met him with the news that his boy was living. Now he traveled a whole day. Now he's on his way back. Jesus told him to go, and the scripture says he departed, and going back home, remember my topic the last time was here? Going back another way. He went back another way. He left home with a feeling of desperation. But on his way back, he trusted. He had a new faith and a new belief and a new outlook. His mind was changed. And so on his way back, he went back expecting to see his son living and walking. Feeling is the secret. Once you pray, you go back another way. And they said his boy was living. So when he inquired as to the time when his son got better, this is important. They said to him, let's read that together. Okay, let me read it again. When he inquired as to the time, as to the hour, when his son got better, he stopped and said, well, what time did he get better? And what does it say? Yesterday.
At 1 in the afternoon.
The fever left him. Your prayer was answered yesterday. Your good is on the way. The answer is breaking through. Well, in the meantime, you cannot judge according to appearances. You can't judge by the lab reports. You can't judge by the x-rays. You can't judge by the denial in the request. You can't judge, you can't look at that stuff. You can't judge by the pain that is in your body. You can't judge by when you cannot judge by that. That means nothing. Because I don't talk to the Lord. That ain't real. That's an illusion. That's in the outer world. That's not in my feeling. It's your feeling that's underlying that, not the sensation on the outside. The evidence with faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That stuff you can see and feel. But what about what you cannot see? You got to get into. You can reach down and under and feel that. You can feel the love and the joy and the excitement that goes along with the finished product in your imagination. You can get into that feeling. Act as though I am and I will be. Yesterday, come on, say yesterday my healing was. Yesterday my healing was. Come on. Yesterday my healing was. Come on. Yesterday my healing was. Then the Father realized that this was the exact same time at which Jesus had said to him, your son will be well. Look at your page 2. for those. You're going to read this together with me. You got it? Don't read too fast. Let's read. Already done. It's already done. Whatever you've been asking the Lord to do, it's already done. Please listen, it says, while you pray, He knows how long you have to wait. Don't give up. Keep the faith, for it's already done. The blessing is prepared. Just know that the Savior really cares. He heard your every prayer, and it's already done. Be still and know. Be still and know that you're about to go somewhere. Oh yeah. Just think about that desire of your heart. Think about that need. Think about the answer that you need for something, or praying for somebody, or for someone. You have to know. Yes. Now let that imagination go before you. That's Jesus going before you. Go, 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 go in your imagination to that desire fulfilled. That healing already is. That thing that you've been working towards, the work is over, it's finished. He says, I am the author and the finisher of your faith, your imagination. Sense and feel and know that there's a finishing going on, a healing going on. All right, stay here with me in this place, in my Father's house. Give him a moment. Now he's setting up things, creating a divine conspiracy in the spiritual zone, in the evil. Tapping on the doors of people's minds that you don't even know, or those who you do know. Planting an idea in their minds, and there becomes a motion, a movement in their thinking, in their consciousness. They begin to move because now they have divine appointments to play a role in this divine setup in your life. Yeah! Doctors in your places, they don't even know how they got there. You don't even know how you got there. Working on physicians' minds, working on people in the financial world's minds, working on wherever mind of others who are to be in your aura, to give to you what they have been sent to give, to say, to do, and vice versa, you being in place to be helpers for others in ways that you did not expect. No. He says, my ways are beyond finding out. And now, when you pray, in this place, imagination goes before you to prepare a place. He's going to send you back another way out of that prayer, out of that meditation, with a new script, with a new prayer. And you will say what you're listening to. You will say what you heard. Then this will be his words that pray through your lips. And he said, the words that come out of your mouth now are not your words. They are my words. And my words do not return to me void, but they accomplish and prosper unto the thing where you sent. And you will be speaking words of power. And you will get different results. In the name of Jesus is how you're speaking, in the manner in which he spoke. Those were not his words, those were God's words. Come on, sorry now. Sorry now. Sorry now. Sing along. That's the amen. That's the amen. Just keep speaking. And so, and in your mind, you're saying, and so it is, means that it's finished. Come on. Yes. Every day in every way. Every day in every way, I am getting better and better. Every day in every way, I am getting better and better. Every day in every way, I am getting better and better. And so it is.